Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Rebel Nutritionist. I'm your host, Micheal Brandwine, and I'm the owner of the Brandwine Institute for Nutrition and Wellness, a holistic wellness center located in beautiful South Florida. We'll focus on nutrition, movement, and emotional balance so that when it comes to the real skinny about health, you'll have all the information you need to meet your own personal goals. We're excited to show you the way to long-term, healthy living. So let's dive in and get started. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Rebel Nutritionist podcast. Today, I'm super duper excited to have Michael Raymond, who I've known for a very long time now. Michael and my son, Jason. When did you start? Was it college, right?
2015.
2015.
Yeah,
and
almost 10 years now.
10 years, wow. So Michael is the founder, owner of Raymond Representation, a sport and talent agency. And it has been a pleasure to watch you grow this amazing, amazing business. What a success story you are. So congratulations.
not done yet.
I know, you're not done,
yet.
but I mean, wow, like you have really, it shows hard work and effort totally pays off. So congratulations.
100%.
I mean, it was a good year for you this year. So I am here with Michael because Michael really decided to take hold of his health. We're going to talk a little bit about his story and what his impetus was for coming to see me professionally, and where his journey has taken him, has led him, and how he feels. So welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I feel great. That's the good thing.
That is the good thing.
If you want to feel great, call her.
I love that. I did not ask him to say that.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about your story, kind of what led you to come to me on a professional basis and where you're at, and then we'll take it from there. We have lots of good things to talk about today.
Yeah. I think before I kind of break into the story, I think the number one thing is that a lot of kids or students that are 26, 27 years old, I'm 27 now, I feel like they're invincible.
Yeah.
And they don't really take their health seriously. I mean, a lot of kids, they work out, they eat pretty good, but I think with you, it's like taking it to the next level, which is, we'll get into all that stuff. But unfortunately for me, which obviously you've seen, I've dealt with some things, like it goes back to when I was with Jason in college. I had an autoimmune virus that kind of scared me and my family. Thankfully, ended up not being something serious, but I was, looking in the mirror saying, why me? I work out every day. I play basketball. I eat good. Definitely something that I never expected to even have to have a conversation about. Yeah. So that was the first scare after a couple of days in the hospital and blood work and things like that. And then fast forward to law school and just the stresses and, not feeling 100%. And then obviously my dad's situation, which was a very scary situation with COVID, a year taken out of our lives, basically. Yeah. And I think that's when it really flipped the switch that, why wait? I didn't feel 100%. I didn't feel terrible, but I definitely did not feel 100%. No. I had a voice kind of in my ear saying, like, you're 70% right now and you need to be better. And then obviously knowing you and what you do, I was like, I need to call Micheal. So I kind of flipped that switch. I said, I'm not going to rely on other people to tell me what to do. I'm just going to call you and get to it. And then, since then, after doing the blood work and the vitamins and the workout plans and everything, I feel much closer to 100%, even though I don't think anybody ever feels 100%.
Well, right. I mean, but you're right. And what is 100%, right?
Exactly.
I mean,
you don't know.
Exactly. So I always say, right, we always work towards improvement. And it's always about what is the next step in our lives, right? And so
100%. So,
I love that. So thank you for that introduction, backstory a little bit. So, one thing that I think is so important that you said is that, younger kids, right, you're in your 20s, whatever that looks like, think they're invincible and that nothing is going to happen. And, the unfortunate reality is that now more than ever, we're seeing illnesses start in the 20s and even earlier. And so I'm sure, and there's a lot of research to back this up. I mean, I don't have specific studies, but I'm sure I would have a pile if we really went and dug into it, because I have looked at it and I was, looking at lifespan or life expectancy. So the life expectancy of your generation is actually predicted to be lower than that of my generation, which is kind of scary,
yeah.
right? Which means there's a very real risk out there for your generation. And so people say, well, what is it from? Well, it's from exposure to toxins, number one, because the amount of chemicals and toxins that are in our environment that we don't pay attention to in terms of our exposure. We're not paying attention to that as much as we should. We sort of just gloss over it. I'm pretty convinced, actually, that some of yours was triggered by mold that was in your house when you lived with Jason.
Yeah, I remember we talked about that. Yeah.
Because Jason also
Jason
had an autoimmune thing go on at that time.
Yeah.
And 100% there was mold in your house, right?
Yeah.
So I think, and this is what happens. Which
is crazy.
But it's real, right?
It's real.
I mean, it's coming out more and more in terms of the public awareness, but it is a real thing. Mold exposure is a big issue, especially here in Florida.
Yeah.
And so in these older houses, in these older communities, it is a problem. So I do think, that is my intuition talking to me saying, I'm pretty sure that that's what it was. But yeah, then you go down this rabbit hole of, okay, well, how do I discover what's going on? So the point is that doesn't matter how old or young you are, you need to start looking at the things that move the needle in your health and prevention. And, prevention's not a sexy word.
Yeah.
Especially when you're young. Forget about it when you get, older. People still don't really, they wait till something happens. And so kudos to you for really listening to your intuition. And I talk about that all the time with my clients. Like, your body talks to you. Shame on you if you don't pay attention.
Most people are too scared or they're embarrassed.
That is a good point.
They're embarrassed, they're scared, they don't want to talk to people about it. Also, the food we eat, 90%, I mean, you'll talk about that for hours.
Yeah.
But 90% of the food we eat is horrible for you. Which you've definitely opened up my eyes. And I think another thing, too, is that I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Like, I definitely have cheat meals. I had pizza yesterday.
As you should.
I have cheat meals. I definitely don't work out every day. Not every workout is like David Goggins level where you're like grinding. Right. There's days where you're lazy and you don't want to do stuff, and that's okay. But I think even just doing it like 60, 70% of the time 100%. Is life-changing. So now it's like, when I go to the movies, I'll have some candy or whatever it may be. But I don't drink soda every day.
Right.
I don't eat candy every day. Yep. I try to stay away from processed crap, fast food, all that stuff. I have it every once in a while, of course. But if you just are aware of it, you really can make a huge change.
That's such a good point, because that's what I always talk about. For me, there's no such thing as perfection. Nobody's perfect. I don't even know what perfect looks like, right? Yeah. And there shouldn't be an expectation, because then it's just about the letdown, and just then you kind of beat yourself up, and that that's not reality. And so it's really about consistency.
Yeah.
Consistency. I say this all the time. I am ridiculously consistent. And I am very disciplined. And so, maybe that's my superpower, but it's, and you don't have to have it as a superpower to just be consistent. I think people think like, oh, if I'm going to start exercising, I have to do it every day. If I'm going to pay attention to my food, I have to do it every day. So let's take it back a little. Like, when we first met, what were some of the things that we talked about that really hit the mark for you? And then you started, because you've done so much, so I sort of want to bring that awareness to people, like what you now do consistently that has really moved the needle in your health, because it's a combination of things. So let's go back to, when we first met, what were the things that really stuck in your mind that we talked about?
Well, the first thing was, you always talked about making a routine that was fitting your lifestyle, easier for you. So doing like little things that just make your life much easier to stick to the routine, which has helped a lot. Just like even small things such as like monk fruit every day in my coffee instead of Splenda, or like, going to the gym at the same time every day, knowing what you're going to do before you go to the gym, like the night before, having meals in your head or written down for the week. Small things that just make a major difference. And then I think like the food in my pantry and in my fridge and things like that, very small things, organic stuff, fruit, things like that. Things like that have just made it much easier for me to keep consistent. But, for me, it was just trying a bunch of different stuff. I love going to the gym. I know a lot of people don't.
Right.
I love going to the gym. I love going on walks. I don't run. I like going on walks. So I think just finding things that you enjoy. I do think that you need to push yourself to be uncomfortable. I think too many people care too much about comfortability. I hear a lot of people talk, and it's like, you need to do things when you don't want to do them and when you want to do them.
Right.
That's the only way you're gonna grow. So I go to the gym because I feel like it's a mandatory thing at this point. You need to go because not only for your body, but for your heart, for your mind, for all those things.
Oh yeah, for all those things.
So that's how I feel about the gym and fitness. But I've done so many new things this past year and a half. I started cold plunging, which was definitely new for me.
So let's talk about. Yeah. So was it just something that you were curious about, or you just were reading about it in all the longevity magazine?
Honestly, it's been such a trend right now that I kept hearing it on podcasts and people talking about it.
Yeah.
It's everywhere in the gyms now.
100%.
All the nicer gyms are putting it in. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to try it, and I actually tried it with my other friend Dylan, who you know.
Yeah.
And I loved it. It sucks. It's cold.
It's cold.
It always sucks.
Right.
I've done it 150 times at this point,
really?
and it still sucks every time I go in.
I know. I can't even get into a cold shower.
So I started with the cold showers. I started with the cold showers for about 2 months. And then I kind of wanted more. I wanted to be a little bit more shocked and cold when I was doing it. So now I go like 3-4 times a week to this place, and I cold plunge, I sauna, which is basically heat, cold,
cold. Right.
stress therapy for your body.
Yeah.
And I've found it to be incredible. And I know lots of other people have too.
Yeah. Incredible, like in terms of stress relief, anxiety, mental stuff,
anxiety, body feels much better.
Yeah.
Your recovery rate is much quicker.
Wow.
I think number one is the stress and anxiety relief that people don't realize, but that's number one.
Yeah, well, that's why I said that, because I know that's a big thing.
It is.
Right?
I mean, you're in there for 2-3 minutes, maybe longer, and you don't think about anything.
Right.
And when you get out,
get me out.
You get out of it, you're like, I just conquered the hardest thing that I'm probably going to do today. So everything else feels like nothing to you. And then obviously the health benefits. I mean, I'm not an expert, but I know the dopamine level hit is insane. Yeah. I mean, they say it's compared to like doing, drugs, which don't do. But,
exactly.
Which is insane because it's a healthy thing for your body,
right.
And you're doing it and you're getting the same effect. The sauna, the steam, I love as well, stress reliever, but also just relaxing. It feels fantastic.
Yeah.
So I've been incorporating that into my routine pretty much almost every day if I can.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, so you came in, you did the testing, you did the genetic testing.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about what how you felt about that. Like, what did that reveal for you that was able to, again, help you put into play what you're doing now?
Well, I think everybody gets scared of the genetic testing.
Right.
Everybody gets scared of it because, you think that you're going to see something scary or something that you didn't know your family had or whatever. But you said right away, it's not supposed to be scary.
Right.
It's not going to show that you're dying tomorrow or anything like that. It's to prevent anything from happening later, 20, 30 years from now.
Exactly.
And you also were very confident, like if you do it now, there's a very strong chance you can help yourself. So that made me feel better about it, and I did it. Thankfully on ours, we didn't see anything crazy.
Right.
But even like I talked to you about my family having high blood pressure as like a number one. That like my mom has it, my dad has it. I'm sure my brother might even have it at this point. So it was like, how can we prevent that, right, when I'm 30, 40 years old? So we started there. I don't remember anything crazy. Some inflammation things that we talked about, which was huge for me because of the autoimmune.
Yes.
And that's all inflammation.
Right.
So that was the number one thing, is like, how can I stop putting things in my body and help prevent any inflammation in the future? So, it was fun. And the blood work, I love the blood work. I think a lot of high level athletes, especially people that I work with now, they do blood work 2 or 3 times a year.
Yeah.
The NFL, NBA nutritionists that are doing it for them are doing the same things that you recommend, which is custom vitamin supplements, blood work every 2 or 3, maybe every quarter or twice a year.
Right.
And just staying on top of everything, because you can prevent it if you do it.
100%, and that is the truth about the genetics. People think the DNA test that we do, even though we talk about this over and over, it is not diagnosing and it's not predicting disease. It's saying where is the predisposition that you might express. You might show these things, like you said, in 20, 30, whatever, 40 years. And if we have that information, how do we help you now? Which is, again, that prevention and that proactive part of this that I think is so important. So
and we did the blood work twice so far.
Right.
And remember that the difference was huge.
Yes.
Yeah, it wasn't done, like still not close to where we want to be, but it was way better.
Much closer.
It was way better.
Yes.
Yeah, it was way better.
Yeah.
There was a couple of small things that we just needed to tweak, but and that was before the custom vitamins actually.
Right.
Because we did the blood work first, and then you just recommended stuff, and then I did the custom.
And then you were ready to kind of say, all right, let me do the custom vitamins. So what Michael's talking about with the custom vitamins is that once we get the lab work, what I'm able to do is customize a formulation based on his individual results that is specific to him.
Yeah, and not what a doctor or trainer says they think you need.
Exactly.
Not what you read on YouTube and you think it's cool. Oh, I need to take fish oil now or do this. It's literally based off of what your body is telling her and on paper is wrong with you.
Yeah.
Or you need to get more of. And I think that was the number one thing. And it's funny because I saw a lot of things that were easy, like vitamin D, B12, all these things that are like simple things that I was lacking. And I'm like, I sit in the sun, and the number one thing, I think it was the vitamin D liquid.
Oh, the liquid. Yeah.
Like vitamin D is like you think you're getting more than enough of it, but sometimes, as you said, your body doesn't absorb it the same way.
So you have genes that implicate how your body absorbs it.
Yeah.
So do
And the pills weren't working that great.
Correct.
So you recommended the liquid form, which I'm sure has been helping a lot more.
Yes. So we will see. So so the customized vitamins you felt made a difference more than just the stuff that we gave you off the shelf.
100%. I mean, it's been, I want to say it's been 3 or 4 months now, so we'll do the blood work again in a couple months. Yeah. At first, you're not going to notice a difference like the first 2-3 weeks, right? Right. But I remember Jason called me and told me, because he did it, and he was like, in 2 months, you'll feel a major difference. And now I feel totally great. I feel fine. So.
That's amazing. So let's talk a little bit, because you mentioned athletes. So you're in the line of work of you deal with, young athletes every day in, day out. And some of them, well, I guess I don't know if they're all doing testing, but, what do you want to speak to in terms of the athletic world? Because again, I think, I don't know if all athletes are working with trainers and nutritionists, but what is your message to the athletes that you work with? Because hopefully they'll watch this.
Yeah. No, so it depends. Obviously the college ones work with their schools usually.
Yes.
The bigger the school, the better usually. The pro guys have nutritionists and things like that. But the creators, the influencers that we work with don't necessarily do. A lot of them are athlete based or used to be an athlete, so they do live the lifestyle of an athlete every day. Mm-hmm. So some of them are willing to put in the extra time and effort to do that. What I recommend is that I think the number one thing, and this is just me being real, I think people think it's so expensive and so scary and it's a whole process and things like that. It's really not. It's not cheap, right? But it's but it's
an investment.
It's an investment
think about
for
the
you.
things that you spend. You go buy jewelry. You
100%.
go buy clothing.
Yeah,
you
that's
go
what
buy,
I mean.
Right? So
and you're spending $100, $200 a month on vitamins and other things, and just for a little bit extra, a little bit more time, a little bit more money on the blood work and things like that, you can be tremendously better.
Yeah.
So I think that's the number one thing, because even me, when I first was starting, I was a little bit scared of what the investment would look like, things like that. But it's not that much major of a difference in my opinion.
Right.
Especially if you keep trying just random stuff that you keep buying. Oh, I saw this was great, or this protein was great. And then you're spending all this money, and then your Amazon bill is insane.
Right. I have so many people who say to me, "Oh, I bought this and I bought that," and I'm like, "Why'd you buy it?" And look, these companies know how to market to you, people.
Yep.
They know your hot button. They know the emotional trigger that it's going to take to set you up to go push the click. It's all clickbait.
And most people don't know what they really need. They're buying these vitamins, but your body can already have more than enough, and you're really taking them for no reason because they're not absorbing.
Right. So then you're spending more money on all of that kind of stuff. I mean,
I
just say to people, go add up what you're eating out, what your bill is to eat out and eat this crappy food. Yeah. What is your bill for coffee? What is
save 3 bar weekends and you can do it, and then you're done, and that's it. Save 3 bar weekends, 3 dates.
You speak their language.
3 dates. The coffee is a huge waste of money. I make a joke about that all the time, but I think anybody that goes to Starbucks every day is wasting so much money.
Yeah.
You buy a coffee machine or just make it or whatever. because it's like $8 now for a coffee.
Right,
it's
right.
ridiculous.
So you do that every day times, a whole month or whatever that is. I mean, there's
easily
your vitamin money.
Easily a couple $100
right.
a month.
There's your vitamin money right there, So I think it's all a matter of what people prioritize.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I don't think people prioritize their health.
No. It's like what I said in the beginning. Most people don't until they have a problem.
Until they have to, right.
Yeah.
And so, I think, again, that's where you're so forward-thinking. And kudos to you because you're going to be,
Well, I want people to hear that because, I want my brand or my company brand to have health as the number one, priority.
I love that.
Because honestly, like I think, like freedom, health, family, it's always number one. Most people don't think that way, but because of all the stuff that we've seen, you as well. You've been through a lot of stuff, so I think the stuff that we've seen. It just shows you exactly why it should be the priority.
Exactly.
And we've seen tons of guys who make tons of money and have all the things they want, and then something bad happens and it's all bye-bye.
Right.
So it doesn't matter.
Right.
So,
yeah. I mean, I love that perspective. I think that's so important. And again, it's the mature, the mature part of you that really is paying attention and really seeing the forest for the trees.
I also have two best friends who are going to be doctors, including your son. So
right. Wait, who's the other one?
Dylan.
Oh, right, Dylan.
I'm around you doctors all the time.
Right. Well, I'm trying to get Jason to come over to our side. I mean, he does. It's funny. He really does kind of believe in all of this, and we joke about it all the time. And so we're going to keep kind of plugging that into his ear. But
when your mom lives this lifestyle, it's different. Like my mom she's worked out 30 years.
Right.
She loves this stuff too. So
yeah. I mean, you have to lead by example. I think that is where I always say I don't expect my kids to be perfect, but the fact that they all cook. I mean, Jason cooks. Not all the time, but yes,
we used to cook. We used to cook all the time.
Yeah,
good meals,
good, and they tasted good, right? So it's again not about perfection. It's really more about how do we start to incorporate the small things and not have it be so scary. I do want to revisit that because you said these things are scary for people. So how do we make it less scary? How do we make it approachable? I mean, is there something that that
it's hard because it's like they say you're scared until you jump, right? So you kind of have to like do it. You like so you have to do it. Jump.
Yeah.
There's really nothing you can do. I mean, I think now with like it's kind of interesting, but like with social media, like TikTok and Instagram and all that stuff that's out now, I feel like there's a lot of like food creators who are showcasing how healthy meals can taste really, really good, which is interesting because like back in the day that never existed. So if you would have said, oh, you got to eat like grilled chicken with rice and vegetables, like it sounds terrible.
Right, like the bodybuilder diet.
Yeah, but like, me and Jason used to do like taco bowls.
Yeah.
And they were amazing. Like they were way better than like going to Taco Bell.
Oh God,
or going to like El Camino, the Mexican restaurant, like way better than that. We'd make steaks and ribeyes and, vegetable medleys, fried rice that's healthy. All these really good things. And then dessert. Dessert was like finding ways that you can have like healthy desserts and stuff was huge because we're sweet tooth people. But so like anything like fruit dipped in dark chocolate instead of going to buy like a bag of Reese's or something like that. And it's interesting because I've noticed, especially now because I'm much stricter, like it's really all in your head.
Okay, elaborate on that.
Like I've been so in the mood or like craving bad stuff, and then I have like one little snack that's like healthier but still delicious, and like it gets it out of your head in 2 seconds. I mean, literally the other night I was like craving to go get like ice cream, and I was like, wow, I haven't had like Cold Stone or Kilwins in a long time. And then I had like a frozen, it was like a frozen fruit thing from Costco that I bought with dark chocolate on it.
Yeah.
Had 2 or 3 of them, and I was like, wow, thank God I didn't just go have 2,000 calories of ice cream because I felt satisfied with that. So I think that's huge too, because little things that can satisfy to get the mind out, you win.
Yeah, and it is the food is very emotional.
Yeah, 100%.
It is just 100% emotional. So it really, I mean, obviously we want it to be nourishment, but
that's why they say never go shopping for food when you're hungry.
I know.
Because it's always terrible.
It is. Listen, I walk into Whole Foods, forget it. It's a nightmare.
I go to Costco all the time.
Oh, forget it.
And when I go to Costco, I make sure I eat right before because that food court will get you every time.
Right.
For $4, you get like a slice of pizza, a hot dog, ice cream. It's
yeah. Well, Barstool Pizza Guy did a review. He said it was the worst pizza ever. Right.
It's so funny because it is terrible, but it's like good in the moment.
Right. Well, if you're hungry, anything is good in the moment. But it is, mindset around food is huge. And I think, and you kind of nailed nailed it there. It really is our belief system about some of it's comfort food. What did we grow up with that makes us feel good, right? When we get sick, what do we go for? We go for the things that mom gave us when we were sick. And to this day, I have my kids ask me for pastina because that's what I used to give them, because that's what my mom gave me. I'm like, there's got to be a healthier option than pastina, right? But I think that it's you're going back to that mind piece of mind over matter. And I can satisfy my craving with this, and I don't have to go off the deep end and have that. Again, the ice cream might not have been so bad, but when you're really trying to make these transitions and you're satisfied with something else, then it's that shift starts to happen.
It's not that you have to, like, you can't eat ice cream every day, right? You can have it every once in a while. It's no problem.
Right.
But when I first came to you, I always kept asking. I was like, what are like little things that I can change to stop the cravings? Because that's where you get in trouble.
Yes.
Fast food every day. You're eating chicken tenders, fried stuff, like, the candy, all the little things that I've been trying to remove, not forever.
Right.
But just majority of the time, and you'll feel 1,000% better. Yeah.
So let's go back through that, because part of what I think happens with people is that they're addicted to that sugar. I mean, there's a definite sugar piece, right?
That's a 100%
did you feel that when you started to shift?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so let's talk about that.
I think addiction to sugar, addiction to processed food.
Yeah.
Because you grow up on it.
Right.
America pushes it down your throat.
Yes, those food companies.
Yeah, I mean, McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell, they're everywhere for a reason.
Yeah.
Money. And it's funny because I drive past McDonald's now, like on a Friday night, and I see like a line in the street, and I'm like, I just shake my head now.
Yeah.
I'm like, on a Friday night, majority of Americans are eating McDonald's, like just crap.
Yeah.
I like it at 2 a.m. after a bar night, but other than that, it's like, it's just horrible for you. And there's a reason why you leave it on the counter and it doesn't get bad for 4 months straight.
Exactly. You can leave it there and it looks exactly the same.
Yeah. But I think like easily cutting out like sodas and processed candy, like gummies. And I love gummies. Listen, I love gummies. When I go to the movie theater, I always get a bag of gummies. But taking that out of your life on a daily basis has made a huge difference on me.
Did you find that it was hard to do at first?
Yeah, very hard.
So what did you feel? Like, what came up for you?
I mean, nothing like physically that like made me feel bad. I definitely had cravings to the max. Like they tripled. Like that's what happens when your body wants it, they triple, right? So there was times where I was like, damn, I need to have some candy now or like a soda. But I think finding alternatives to those things is what saves you. So like I'm a big sparkling water guy now, even flavored sparkling water. I drink it every day. I drink it because in the morning I'm not a big breakfast eater. Right. So it kind of holds me over till after I work out. So sparkling water, there's healthier sodas now, like the probiotic sodas and Poppy and all that stuff. Olipop, and then, like I said, the dark chocolate or the healthier candies, things like that. Because really, if you just satisfy the craving, you don't want the crap anymore. Yeah. And it's easy to satisfy the craving. You could be starving and then you have like a peanut butter sandwich or something that's much healthier, and you feel like so much happier that you didn't go waste 2,000 calories on a bunch of crap.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's also about the mindset piece, because I know you started doing some of that work, right? Are you doing meditation?
Yeah, I do a lot of breath work. So it's kind of like a meditational thing, but it has a lot of physical benefits.
Yeah.
Too.
So what do you find? Because I find a lot of people, especially the younger kind of generation, poo-poos like, I don't need to do, right? I mean, oh, that's voodoo. What are you talking about? And so what made you
I felt like that at first.
I know. Well, we talked about that, right? I think your
like
face was like when I said, do you meditate or you breathe? And you're looking at me like, why do I breathe all the time?
Yeah. No, I felt like that at first, but I think, honestly, once I tried it, and I think also for me, I'm very into like personal development. So I listen to a lot of like people and like mentors out there. Okay. And they all do it. So I'm like, there's a reason they're doing it. Yeah. Like these are guys that, they make a lot of money, they run stuff, they have great businesses. There's a reason they're doing meditation and breath work. So I started it, and honestly, the second that I started it, I got addicted to it. Yeah. If anyone wants to like look up like the Wim Hof story. Right. I mean, his story is incredible. The amount of diseases and things that he's fought off because of the breath work and the meditation work that he does is absolutely insane. He started the whole cold plunge like trend that's going on right now. because he literally went into Antarctica ice and water and just like sat there for 10 minutes. So I think, but honestly, I do it because of my lifestyle. My lifestyle is, unfortunately, it's good and bad. It's very on 24/7.
Yeah. Very
stressful. As an agent, lawyer for these guys, these athletes, girls and guys, I have to be available all the time.
Yeah.
So having kind of a separation of like, listen, past 9 o'clock, don't bother me. Before 6, don't bother me. It's like you have to have that separation. So the meditation is very stress relieving for me, helps me kind of attack the day, figure out what I want to do. And then the breath work, I've noticed tons of benefits physically as well.
Yeah,
like when I work out in the gym, I'm not getting tired as much because my breathing is going through my nose, and it's much better. First of all, you're supposed to breathe through your nose.
Right.
100% of the time.
I know.
Only when you do breath work, you're supposed to breathe through your mouth,
right.
because the breath work is meant to be like, through the mouth. But 99% of the time, you're supposed to breathe through your nose. That's why you have problems when you sleep, because people have their mouths open and they snore and they have dry mouth and all these things. That's a whole different conversation. But so the breathing, just walking and working out and lifestyle helps with that. Also, you kind of put your body into a state of like stress where it literally starts vibrating and like freaking out. But at the end, it goes away. And I think it I don't know all the science behind it, but it puts oxygen into your cells, which is a huge benefit for like disease and other things that can happen. And I just find it very meditating, like and relaxing.
Yeah, really, yeah.
Because like I'm on my phone all day. I'm always doing stuff. Everybody is. Yeah. Everybody's on their phone all day. That's why I had neck problems.
That whole neck thing.
Oh
yeah.
So for me, it's like to be able to find, if you can't find 10 to 20 minutes of your day to like focus on yourself and shut out all the noise, you have a problem.
Yeah. Oh, loud and clear, right? We are so obsessed with being on those devices.
This thing is going to kill everybody.
It really is. And yet, are we willing to give it up? Right? I mean, I almost lost I put my phone in the cart at Target, and then I left without it because it was like in that place. And like we panicked.
I know.
And so,
I wish you could give it up, but a lot of people make money on it. It's a business, and communication is good.
Right. Right. But again, it's how do we find that balance of it? And I think that disconnecting is so important. And again, the younger generation is, I see Ashley I'm like, Ashley, please go.
I know. We're all the same. Me and Jason every night. We used to be on TikTok.
Yeah, I know. Jason
all day. We used to be up for an hour all day.
Yeah.
I know.
I mean, especially before you go to bed. So not good.
I still do it to this day, and I get mad at myself because I was in a great routine where I would read for like 10 minutes before I went to bed. I'd shut everything off and I'd go to sleep, and then I went back to the phone.
And I'm like, get you off that phone.
I know. And then I'm like, now I'm checking my phone again before I go to bed. It's horrible. So
not good.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Okay, so now we're going to hold you to that task.
See, I'm telling everybody that I'm not perfect. I don't look at it in the morning though, because the morning, I like people that do it in the morning. That's like horrible. Wake up and just like right away, you're just like looking at your phone.
Yes.
That's horrible. So
yeah, all right. I get up, meditate. Well, that's what I do. I get up. I make my drink. And
no, I have a routine. I get up. I shower. I drink a lot of water. I've been drinking hydrogen water. Have you heard this trend?
Oh, yes. I know all about hydrogen. Water's been around for a very long time.
I'm curious how you feel about that.
I mean, there's benefits to hydrogen. There's 100%.
So I bought a really good hydrogen bottle.
Okay.
You just fill it up. So I've been drinking the hydrogen water. I do that right away. Then I do the breath work, a little bit of meditation, coffee, gym.
Right.
That's my routine pretty much every day.
Good.
Yeah.
Keeps you honest.
100%.
More or less. More or less. Great. I mean, what did we leave out? What did we not cover? I think we pretty much...
Yeah, no, I think we covered pretty much everything. I think the last thing that we should say is just don't wait until something happens to you. You'll feel so much better on a daily basis. Too many people prioritize money, business, and things that they matter, but they don't matter for everything.
Right. Well, look, if you're not healthy, it doesn't matter how much money you have. I know, and I feel like we say this all, like, if you do not have your health, you have zero.
100%.
And
and you can wake up tomorrow and not have it.
Yes.
And I think another thing too is, and I know you talk about this, like, if you do all these things, it doesn't mean that you're going to be Superman and never get sick and never have an issue.
Right.
Anything can happen. Like, people are going to say, if I ever get sick, oh, you cold plunged every day and you did the vitamins and you eat pretty good. Yeah, never, hopefully.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, it doesn't mean that you're never going to have a problem.
There's no guarantees with anything. But I think, again, the whole idea is that you arm yourself with the information, with the tools, with the knowledge, and then practice it. In the hopes that you, even if something does happen, right, that you have a way better chance of
and you're doing everything you can to not let it happen.
Yes.
And that's important, because a lot of people, something happens to, and they're like, well, I didn't do anything to prevent it. I didn't work out. I was this. I smoked every night. You know, we're doing everything we can to hopefully prevent it. And then if something does happen, you're probably going to be better off for sure.
Well, that's the thing, right? You know? And I think the other, people say, oh, well, I'm going to die anyway. Yeah. And then they're the same people that come back when they're sick and they're going, oh, please help me.
Exactly.
You know, we have this really bizarre outlook on health and well-being. And I think it's just, that's a little backwards, but on many levels. So, you know, I think the other part of the conversation when we talk about the cold plunge and the things of the longevity. Right now, biohacking is a big thing, and this whole longevity conversation is a big thing. And yes, of course, we want to stay healthy and well and live as long a healthy life as we can. But I also think we have to be really careful in the biohacking space, because if we don't have the foundational things, if our nutrition is not good, if our sleep is not good, if our mental...
Sleep. We didn't talk about sleep.
We didn't talk about sleep. So if our sleep is not good, if our environment is not good, you know, we could do all the biohacking things we want. We can cold plunge all we want. But if you're not sleeping and your stress is through the, roof,
it won't do
then it's not going to do any good. And it's the same thing with the supplements. You know, there's all people keep calling me, oh, well, there's this one out and there's that one out. We don't want to be living on supplements. You want to be eating food. You want to be living your life. Supplements are great to supplement your diet, but you're going to start taking 20 supplements for longevity.
Yeah.
And that's not going to work in your favor either. So I think we've got to be really careful on what we're listening to, who we're listening to, like you said. So
I think just starting with something. You don't need to do all of the above. You don't need to cold plunge every day. But just, I think the number one thing to start with is sleep.
Yes. So
because that's what you never, like, I never knew, but you kind of like told me, you're like, what does your sleep look like? And then I got the Oura Ring and I was like, wow, my sleep is terrible half the time. And, it's not even about when you go to sleep and when you wake up. It's like in the middle of the night what's happening.
Yeah.
And a lot of people wake up in the middle of the night, they go to the bathroom, they're on their phone, their mind's racing. So sleep is huge, and I think I still need to fix my sleep at a better level.
So we started with, like, take people through your process. Like, you started where? We talked about it. Like, what was the process?
Well, I think the phone is a big issue. So like 30 minutes before you go to bed, trying to cut out certain things, darken the room, don't watch TV, either get ready for sleep, have some tea, read a book, things that are relaxing to the mind. It's hard though, because you want to like know who's texting you. You want to know who posted on social.
Right.
So for me,
can't always be.
No, it's hard, and especially the earlier you go to sleep, the harder it is, because then there's people still like wide awake at like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and I work with people on California time, so it's like 6 o'clock, and they're like, you're in bed already, bro. So that's really difficult for me. So I've been trying to find like a good medium of like when to go to sleep. So I've been going to sleep like 10:30 now.
Okay.
Getting up at like 6:30, 7, which
respectable.
Which is like 8 hours, 7, 8 hours. That's more than enough for me. I think 7, 8 hours is more than enough. Under 7 is where I start to feel like pretty tired. Obviously, there's certain periods where you just kind of have to like grind and get up early and just do it. But fixing sleep is probably the easiest thing that everybody could do to start feeling better.
Well, it sounds easy, but I will tell you the number
compared
of
to
people
the food in the gym and all that.
Right, but I guess it's all relative for some people, 100%. But for some people, it really is a struggle.
Yeah, like my brother, like he gets up very early. He has a girlfriend with 2 younger kids, and he has to take them to school, but he goes to sleep very late sometimes, and he eats bad stuff before he goes to bed, and I yell at him. I'm like, dude, you want to feel better? Fixing your sleep schedule is number one. Yeah. And you'll feel much better. Yeah. So just like little things like that. It's not easy. Like you said, none of this is easy.
It's not, I think it's not that I don't want to say that it's not easy. It's work.
Yeah.
Because you have to put in the effort. But I say it's like anything you want in life. You had a goal, you had a vision, you had a dream. You still have all of that, right? But and you stayed committed to that, and look at where you are, right? Professionally. So I always say, go approach your health in the same way as you would starting a business.
100%.
Right? What is the goal? What is the vision for your health? Where do you want to get? And what is that one thing that you can start with? Because like you said, you just start with one thing. And then it becomes that snowball, like, oh, I feel good doing this, so let me keep going and let me keep going. And
I could promise 9 out of 10 people that start will feel better doing it.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says. I know you will. We'll put all the money on it. Because anybody that I know that I've convinced to eat better, work out more, just do something, go for a walk at night, anything that like is better for your lifestyle, they always come back like, wow, I wish I did that before.
Right. I mean,
Do you ever feel worse after the gym?
No, never. Right?
You never feel worse after the gym. After you wake up early, you go to the gym, you hit the steam sauna, you feel incredible after. 99% of the time.
99%. You know, it was funny. Ashley, I spoke to her, I think it was one day last week. She's like, oh, I'm so tired. I want to go to the gym. I'm like, get your ass up and go to the gym. I basically ordered her. I could, I was on the phone with her. And so she's like, all right, I'm going to get up now. While you're talking to me, put on your sneakers. And she did. She got up. She went to the gym. She called me after and said, thank you. Oh, yeah. Thank you for pushing me to go to the gym.
Me and Jason so many times have pushed each other. Like there's days he didn't want to go, there's days I didn't want to go. And the second we went, we were like, thank God we went.
Right. And that's where, so when we talk about the coaching, having a coach or a friend or whatever, right? But in the work that we do, having a coach to keep you accountable, to support you. Like we all, we need community. We need support. That's what humans thrive off of that. Yep. We don't thrive in isolation. We've already learned that, right? Yep. So, having a buddy or having someone.
That's why I said most people are embarrassed or too scared to do that, to have somebody.
Yeah.
But a lot of people need it.
Yeah, they do. And it's so interesting that you bring that up because we're offering a membership. We're coming up with a membership model. And I ran into a couple of people and they're like, oh, I meant to call you. Oh, I meant to do this. But the bottom line is they were embarrassed that they had fallen off a little bit and they were embarrassed to call me. And I'm like, wow, that never entered my mind. Yeah, that you were embarrassed to come back. And that you're saying that is ringing so true. And I'm thinking, if you're out there, please don't be embarrassed. We're not judging you. And we are here to help and support you. No judgment. And, if there's a way that we can do that.
Like I want to get on the machine to check your stuff. And I'm a little, not embarrassed, but I feel like because I'm so much healthier now and working out more, and I really don't eat nearly as bad as I used to. Yeah. I lost some weight. Yeah. And I remember I told you I wanted to gain some weight. So now I'm probably skinnier than I was. And I'm like, damn, I need to get on a bulk now. So I don't even want to see it, but I do want to see it. Right. It's that. So it's kind of embarrassing to come because I literally told her I wanted to gain 10 to 15 pounds, and it's my muscles probably stronger. Right. But I definitely lost a little bit of weight, I guarantee you, because I'm eating so much healthier and my calorie count is way less. Right. I need to eat way more. You have to eat more. Yeah. I
mean, the other thing is, I don't know that people could see. I mean, I'm trying to sit up really straight, but you're super, super duper tall.
Yeah.
So, how tall are you?
I know, it's not fair. I'm 6'7". So 6'7". I need to eat 4,000 calories a day.
Oh, no. You need to eat more than that, I would bet.
Yeah, and it's so hard.
Or maybe we did come up with that.
It was 3,800 minimum.
Right, it was close to 4,000 calories, right?
Which is super difficult.
Yeah.
People have no idea. Yeah. Because a
healthy 4,000 calories.
Yeah. I can't go to McDonald's and go get Krispy Kreme. That would be easy. But if you're eating a healthy, nutritional, fulfilled meal, that's still only 600-700 calories, probably.
Right.
And after the protein shakes, the healthy protein shakes, you're only at 2,000-3,000. You're like, wow, I still got to eat another 2,000. Right. And it's for me, I'm just over that, but I need to do it.
But I think it's really also a matter of what makes you feel good, right?
Yeah.
If you feel
that's another
good,
problem too.
You've got to feel good in your skin.
It's hard to feel good eating 5,000 calories.
Right, that's the thing.
And I work all day. I'm on the phone all day. I'm moving around. I won't feel great. So I kind of had to sacrifice. Well,
and it is. It's again, we can come up with these equations all day long, but those equations, if you live in a vacuum, those equations are great. Yeah. We don't. Right, we
have nothing else to do all day but eat and work out. It'd be great.
Right. Well,
but most people don't.
Peter and Tia, you could do that.
Yeah, most
Peter
people
and Tia and Mark Hyman are doing that. Yeah. Otherwise, And maybe JJ
one day
Virgin,
we'll do that.
Right?
One day we'll do that.
Right,
yeah.
right. I don't, listen, I love doing all that, but there's more to life than just working out and exercise. I mean, and good food. I mean, I love the good food, and I spend a lot of time in the kitchen, but this has been great. Thank you so much. I love this conversation, and
this is probably the most important podcast that I've ever done.
Not
because it's you. It is because it's you. It is because it's you, but also because it's the most important topic.
Yeah.
And I did it obviously because I love her.
Aww.
She's like my second mother. I've known her forever, and she looks out for everybody that we know. But this is literally the most important topic to talk about.
Yeah.
After all the sports, the NIL stuff, and all the cool deals and things that go on, I want people that are my age that follow me, the kids that follow me, to understand this, because when I go speak at schools and things like that, they always ask me, they're like, what's the one thing you've learned during this process or like the journey? And they expect me to say like, something about the agent business or like the law school or whatever. And I'm like, that your health is priority, number one. And they're like, so what do you mean? And I'm like, well, every day, like the first thing I do is 2 hours to myself based on my health. Gym, sauna, cold plunge.
Yeah.
And they're like, how do you have time for that? I'm like, I make time for that. I could care less about everything else. Yeah, I want to make a lot of money. I want to do a lot of things. Cool. But no matter where I am, even in Vegas for the Super Bowl, I wasn't feeling that great. I had a spa day. Went to the spa, worked out. It was great. It was my favorite part of the whole trip.
I love that.
Favorite part of the whole trip. And I even told, my clients that were there, I was like, listen, for 2 hours, I won't be with you because I don't feel great. I need to go to the gym. I need to they had a cold plunge there.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need to like hit that for an hour or two because I'm just not feeling 100%. And it was the best thing I ever did.
I love that. I love that. Oh, that's amazing. Well, good. You'll have to share this with everybody. And again, I'm honored. Thank you.
I'm honored.
All right, everyone. This is your Rebel Nutritionist signing off. Make it a great day.